Hey guys, welcome back to We Need to Go Deeper, the podcast where somebody is always missing. Today's missing person is Austin. He said he would be back in half an hour, probably about an hour and 10 minutes ago, so, you know. But anyway, my name is Green, and with me, as always, is... Well, I shouldn't say as always, because that's not true, but with me is Rob from Alpaca Patrol.
That's me, and I haven't missed a single podcast, I don't think.
Yeah, he's always here.
Yeah,
but
perpetual.
You're part of a list of people who aren't always here. Sean
Eternity.
from Zen and Cyrene.
Howdy doody.
And Cam from Currently Dancing Cam.
I'm dying. I have to miss this podcast. I'm sorry. I have a rare disease called... I don't want to be in this podcast. Oh, God.
That's funny. I thought the disease was called incompetence.
yeah, I have that
That
too,
too.
yeah. I'm
Zing.
taking meds for that, though.
Ah.
Yeah. It's
They
called
have
crack
meds
cocaine.
for that?
Yeah, crack cocaine, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
it's
that
making
really...
it worse. It's
Oops.
making it worse.
Yeah, I
So-
would say.
Yeah.
I would think that would happen.
So video games.
Yes,
Those
those
exist!
What have you guys been playing or hearing
the
about or
fuck?
reading about this week?
Loads of things. Firstly, I want to talk about DC is coming out with a game called Infinite Crisis, which is, I guess, based on the DC Comics story arc Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I never read because DC Comics story arcs are retarded.
I thought it was based on EA's continuing SimCity saga.
Yeah, that would be probably fairly true, but no, it's Infinite Crisis. It's a superhero MOBA. So,
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Lots of MOBAs coming out recently.
Oh yeah.
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 I feel like now that Dota 2 has come out, there's this huge draw towards MOBAs that there wasn't before.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
they're seeing a huge when the international by the way, guys, is a tournament that comes up on Dota every year. There's been 2 so far because Dota hasn't been out for that long, and actually it's still in beta technically, but they consider it release. Anyway, the International is this big tournament that Valve hosts, originally in Germany, then in Seattle, and probably Seattle again this year. And last year it had 700,000 unique viewers around the world. And that's not even that much compared to some of the other esports tournaments that they had. So I think companies are starting to see that, hey, make a really popular MOBA, and you will get so much in ad revenue. You can release it for free, and it doesn't matter. You will just get all of the ad revenue and exposure.
And what they don't realize is that the MOBA market is already quartered on the professional scene by Dota and League of Legends.
Yeah, it's true, but there's room for newcomers, I think.
There are, but not for another esport, I don't think.
Maybe.
Maybe, probably.
Smite is trying to, and to a lesser degree, they're somewhat succeeding.
Really?
So
I
that's
haven't
cool.
heard anything about Smite since the open beta. At all.
Yeah, no, they've actually had a couple Twitch tournaments up on there the past couple of days. They had a tournament at PAX East as well. So yeah, I mean they're trying to do the esports thing, which good for them. I think that's a good idea. It's never a bad idea to try out more esports, see what's popular, see what's good, what's fun to watch. I don't mind.
I don't mind it. I'm not sure it's the smartest decision.
Yeah, I don't think
like there's a game of this type that is an esport. Why not try to make another one?
Well, I think in fairness to them, like I'm sure that the guys who are making Infinite Crisis aren't thinking necessarily esports like totally, because when League of Legends came out, Riot totally wasn't even thinking about esports at all. Like they didn't even have replays. Like that wasn't even an option. So
Right.
it wasn't even possible to do it as an esport. And then like the community was like, "Hey, this is really cool, and you're the only MOBA on the market that's really big. Make this, give us features so that we can make this an esport." And that's the only reason. It's really community feedback that made it an esport. So I mean, you can get a huge audience without having to necessarily do an esport kind of thing. And I think, MOBAs are fun games to play. I mean, there's that Lord of the Rings MOBA on the Xbox that I never played, but looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty okay for being on a controller.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea. All skill
No, me
shots
neither.
and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar to Smite, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do it. It'd be kind of like a Diablo type of thing, except MOBA.
Right.
It'd be cool. And the other thing too, speaking in the MOBA front, since it's good for segues. Segue. Magicka. The guys who made Magicka are also making a MOBA as well, based on Magicka, called Magicka Wizard Wars.
Yeah, interesting thing. 2 teams of 4 wizards.
Yeah.
4-person
4.
MOBA. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. It's weird to think about like what they're gonna do map wise. Because you see things like with like Awesome Knots, which is another like casual MOBA. I'd have to imagine Magicka Wizard Wars is going to be a more casual MOBA, as I would think Infinite Crisis is as well. It's not going to be like hardcore micro intensive or anything. They probably are going to have multiple maps like Awesome Knots, which is a cool idea.
Yeah.
With Magicka, I feel like there's a lot of potential though because of the way the spells are set up. Like you're gonna see like the craziest shit coming out of people. It'd be like
everyone playing
5v5, 5v5 Invoker, basically.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which probably means nothing to anyone listening to this as well. But,
yeah. Invoker is basically like the Magicka version, the Dota version.
Yeah, he's like a magical wizard in Dota.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Also, there's Friendly Fire. That's gonna be fucking weird.
In Wizard Wars?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a
that
bad
bode
idea.
well.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, people get angry as fuck at each other in Dota, and you can't hurt another person in any way, really. Imagine how mad you're going to be if you're about to get an awesome ult off that's going to kill the entire enemy team, and then your teammate walks up and kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
That
like
would
all
be-
the accidental kills because of the area effects.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be insane.
Oh, God.
That would be so much griefing. There would be so much griefing. It has to be super casual then. Like, it has to be.
Yeah,
Like-
man, somebody's raging, somebody's like, team's noob, I'm just gonna kill them all, push to win. And then repeatedly attacks their team.
I'm
Well,
sure
you know
there will
what?
be a function, though, where if somebody team kills enough, then
I hope
you
so.
won't.
Probably.
Yeah.
I also wonder if there's going to be the revive option.
Yeah.
You know how you can revive?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because that might... I don't know what I think about that if they do include that. Because then it's just like pretty much a tug of war.
Deathmatch,
which is,
yeah.
That it is infinite.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it could very well be the type of thing where, remember last week, I think, maybe we talked about it on the podcast, maybe we didn't, but there was a news article of something else that was a MOBA that was coming out, but it was, Dungeon Defenders, that's it. Dungeon Defenders 2 is coming out. Dungeon Defenders 2 apparently is a MOBA, quote unquote, and the reason that I use air quotes, and I'm actually using air quotes because I'm an idiot and don't realize that there's no video, is that there's persistent leveling.
Yeah.
So,
which makes it not a MOBA.
Yeah, so it's not really a MOBA necessarily. I think they're just using that word. That could very well be the case here with Magicka.
Will they be
using
using the leveling as like brackets?
I don't know.
If so, then that's just pretty much the same as Dota.
Right.
Well, no, it isn't. Because here's the thing. Like, in Dota, everybody starts at level 1 at the beginning of the game. If you take that away, if you, like, level up your Drow to level 25, and then every time you play Drow for that point forward, you're level 25, that's not a MOBA anymore. That's like an MMO scrim mode.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the kind of thing that they're seeing the League of Legends, because like I don't know if you guys know, but in League of Legends there are summoner spells, right? And these are 2 spells that you can get. So like League of Legends plays like Dota, right? But there are 2 spells that you can get that you can access that do different things. So you have like this one called Ignite, which I would use all the time, which does a little bit of damage over time. You have another one that's like a Blink Dagger type of thing, and you get those as you unlock in the persistent leveling system, like outside of the gameplay. So maybe it's along that kind of thing, that kind of line, and it's just more of that.
So, you heard it here first, folks. Rob played League of Legends, and he is a casual scum. So,
Rob has officially lost all of his credibility. Thanks, Rob.
yeah.
See you later.
And that's the end of Rob on this podcast.
I'll just bow out now. I mean, like League of Legends. I think a lot of people give a lot of heat to League of Legends, needlessly. Like it's a casual MOBA. That's all it is. Like people angry. Yep. Well, I mean, like if
sympathizing with the enemy again. All right. How did he get back into this podcast? Who let him back in?
It's mostly I think that there's a lot of hatred between the fanboys of League of Legends and Dota. I think they're both fun. But League of Legends is the more casual style.
For me, the only reason that I have this like hatred within me for League of Legends players is because League of Legends players like come into Dota and then just trash talk the game that they're playing.
Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, see, I don't think any Dota players do that. Like, I don't think Dota players go to League of Legends.
I hope not.
But
anyway.
we also don't we also don't frequent the League of Legends servers. So I'm sure there are at least a couple people that go and flame it.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing... By the way, I want to clarify, just because I know the comments are going to be awful. Clarification. I say that League of Legends is a casual MOBA. I don't mean that League of Legends is a casual game. It is in no way a casual game. League of Legends is in no way a casual game. But it is a casual MOBA when comparing it to Dota or Heroes of Newerth, stuff like that. The mechanics are just deeper and more complex in those games than in League of Legends.
Huh.
So.
Well. Rob is a casual scum. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So,
let's see.
Go on, Rob.
I was going to say that they're remaking DuckTales.
Oh, yeah!
There's a remastered version of DuckTales coming out.
It's like Paper Mario DuckTales style.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're remaking DuckTales, which is great. I guess DuckTales is a great fucking game. It's like one of the best games ever. And it's just, for a new audience, I guess.
Well, that game traumatized me when I was a kid. Like,
really?
Because in the Transylvania stage or the castle stage or whatever, there were these skeletons that just jump up at you. I hated that when I was a kid. I would think about that when I was sleeping at night when I was a kid, about stupid skeletons like jumping out at me, because when I was a kid I had a phobia about skeletons. And I could never play that game, even though it's supposed to be one of the best games or best platformers for the NES.
It's a great game. Yeah. It was always a great game. DuckTales is the shit. It's got a great soundtrack.
Yes.
It's a great time.
Jay Smith in the chat says that the line at PAX was really fucking long for DuckTales.
Yeah, I would be on that line. I would have totally been on that line. I mean, like, it's the kind of thing where I think it's easy to scoff at game companies being like, oh, we're gonna make an HD remake of this, and it's like, oh, they're just evil money grubbing scum, and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but I mean, like, I don't mind playing DuckTales again. I guess I could just go and boot up my version of DuckTales, but like, I don't mind seeing it go to a new audience so much, and whatever, I'll pay for it. I don't really care. Like, I think it's easy to yell at developers for that kind of thing, and perhaps it's unfounded. Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like their main audience is just like the nostalgia audience.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll just buy this because we watched DuckTales, we played the game, and we liked it. But they're like, I feel like there are, I don't know if it still runs on TV, but I don't feel like there's a huge like child audience.
It's probably the main audience. It is the reason that they're doing it is because it's celebrating 25 years of its age, I think. Like, let me see. Yeah, 25 years after its original release. So like, the people who played DuckTales as children probably have children now. So it's probably gonna be them giving it to their kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that might be the idea. So, which again, I'm not opposed. Not opposed.
Huh. Interesting. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I have lots of things.
All right, well then continue, you fuck.
That.
There's that whip.
There's let's see here. Okay, so XCOM at PAX East showed off some interesting stuff. XCOM, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, is a turn-based tactical shooter sort of thing. It's just more of a tactics game, really, than anything else. And
it's not a shooter at all.
Yeah, it's
a turn-based tactical game.
Well, I mean, you shoot things, but you know.
Yeah, but like shooter evokes a feeling of like the player shooting things. The player shoots nothing. You're just controlling units.
Yeah. But anyway, so XCOM is that, and really good game. It's very well made. Sort of an HD remake, as it were, of the original XCOM. But anyway, so they released 2 bits of information at PAX East, which actually just went on. That's another news topic. One, that they are going to be releasing XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is the PC version, on iPad and iPhones, coming very soon. I think they said this fall. So it's just going to be on iOS, which is cool because there are a lot of games like, say, Infectinator, where the game totally doesn't require a big screen because it's a fucking management game, but it's like, well, this is going to be iPad only. This XCOM, which should totally be iPad only, is not going to be iPad only. It's going to be on your all iOS platforms, so it's going to be on iPhone and iPad, and it looks fully form-functional. It's like a perfect port is what it appears. And you know what? I'm not opposed to it either because touch controls work with that kind of gameplay. In fact, they might even benefit the gameplay even more than mouse and keyboard. So, you know, it's so that's a cool idea. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think it can work, but I'm not necessarily going to say that it's better than a mouse and keyboard because there's all those keyboard shortcuts that let you play a little bit more fluidly, but it's perfectly possible to play that game just clicking on things with the mouse, so there's no reason you couldn't just do it with your finger as well.
Right.
Yeah, I feel indifferent.
Yeah, I wish it was coming to Android. I would play it, but I don't have an iOS device.
I do have a phone. I'm probably not going to play it on my phone, I think, depending on how expensive it turns out to be. But between the two, PC or iOS, I think I would still rather play it on PC. For reasons that Green said. But it's cool it's coming out for the iOS. Definitely the more people get to play that game, the better.
That said, though, I don't think it's the best. I think it can be a good game for a bite-sized experience, like a bus ride or a train ride, you know?
Yeah.
Like just one mission, and then you're off to work or whatever. I think it can totally work like that. And
yeah, the game just auto-saves every move you make, so you don't have to...
Right.
You know, there's no worry. You just turn off your phone and you come back to exactly where you were. There's no like action-based stuff. There's nothing you can't skip in that game.
Right.
So yeah, works perfectly fine for a mobile gaming experience.
Yep. And that's actually only one of the 2 news topics that Firaxis said. I always called them Firaxis, by the way. I think that sounds way cooler. I don't know.
Firaxis?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it just sounds way cooler to me than Firaxis, but then I heard all these game journalists being like, well, Firaxis is releasing, it's like, oh, that sounds so much less cool. Anyway, basically, they kind of hinted and teased at an XCOM Enemy Unknown 2. So, that's interesting. Yeah. They released this cryptic message from, you know, the councilman or whatever the guy is, Optimus Prime, basically.
Right.
Where he's saying, like, there is an even more dangerous threat, blah, 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 and, like, there's gurgled sounds and all that. So yeah, there's potentially an XCOM 2 coming out soon, which, interesting stuff. Again, not opposed. I think that's a good idea. Even if it's like a fully formed like expansion, which is not obviously out of the wheelhouse of Firaxis, because I mean they do that all the time with SimCity 5. I mean SimCity 5 has like 3-4 expansions already, and they don't even make expansions very frequently for that game. So I mean it could well be just an actual expansion. And I wouldn't be opposed to that either. I mean that would be pretty cool if it just extends the gameplay even further.
Yeah, I love the game. My only concern is like, should we spoil the ending of XCOM Enemy Unknown?
I haven't played it yet.
You should not. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I probably shouldn't. But I will say that the ending of XCOM Enemy Unknown was fucking stupid. So I feel like any kind of story that they do in the new one will automatically be stupid because of the ending of the last story. But we'll see.
Yeah,
I was so into the story of the first game until the very end, and I was just like, oh my god, come on, this is where you're going.
That's
funny.
Yeah,
it was awful.
That's funny because I honestly, like, I'm a big fan of story. I'm a huge fan of story and lore and all that stuff in video games. I paid like almost no attention to the XCOM story.
Sorry.
Like I could care less about the XCOM story, which is weird. I mean, I just didn't. It never really caught my attention. So I at the end of the game, I was just like, more, give me more. I will play more. But really, more than that, the only thing that I had really wrong with the game is the lack of choice. In the tech tree. Just that. Like, that was the only thing that I really didn't like about XCOM, and perhaps this expansion would expand on that. The lead developer, Jake Solomon, who's actually a really funny guy, by the way. Everybody should watch interviews with Jake Solomon. Anyway, so he's even said his greatest flaw with the game, what he thinks is the greatest flaw, is that lack of choice as well. So, perhaps they're trying to amend that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I would love that. To be able to make the kind of tactical decisions of whether or not I want, like, to spec shotguns or a specific type of shotgun or a specific type of different things, it would be cool. So.
Yeah, like develop armor that is either like tank armor or stealth armor or flying armor. You don't get all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. I totes agree. So, well,
could be cool.
There's that. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, here's a thing. Here's another thing. I'm just gonna say right now, fucking called it. Totally called it. And I think I called it live on a podcast as well. So apparently there's a leak. Now, obviously this is a rumor, so it's not necessarily true. But the leak for the Xbox Durango, which is the code name for the Xbox 720, which is the fan code name of it anyway, claims that the console is going to be always connected. Always online.
Connected.
Yep.
Good.
Always online
Good.
Xbox.
Yes, Microsoft, dig yourself deeper into that hole. Bring about the end of the consoles.
Yeah. Well, I also said, and I'm going to again reiterate this so that I can call it years from now. This is going to be the last console cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna say
they're
that
making
as well.
so many mistakes.
Yeah,
they did it all wrong.
I mean, like I even said when I called this, I don't even think that this is necessarily a mistake. This seems like the way that the industry is going, and digital download seems smarter. Xbox, like, all the game companies have been struggling with the idea that they hate that GameStop and Best Buy can sell used games. Digital download solves that. There's only one copy for digital download. So,
yeah. Okay,
I mean,
here's my question. What do you mean by always online? In order to play your game at all, you have to be online?
I'm not sure. It says that that it's going to have a big hard drive and all games must be installed onto the hard disk. So that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Okay.
But it does, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're always online necessarily to play the game. That said, it could very well mean that it doesn't even have disk drive, which, is another thing that I kind of said that is possible, because I wouldn't be. And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily be that opposed to it. But considering the Xbox wants to be the entertainment system at home, is that a good idea? But I mean, it's kind of that idea. Well, because that's the thing, is entertainment in the next 5 to 10 years, is it still going to be on disc? Probably not. Most people are going to Netflix and Hulu Plus and HBO Go and like all that stuff. So,
well, here's the thing though. Walk into like a 50-year-old person's house, they might even still have a VHS player.
Yeah,
like, entertainment doesn't all move at the same rate.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, what's Xbox gonna do? Add a VHS onto the Xbox?
No, but keep a DVD. Like, DVDs aren't even gone yet. People still use DVDs regularly.
There's no way that they're gonna get rid of the CD drive. We had the same conversation with the PS3, because you would basically be cutting out such a huge demographic, such a massive demographic, that like it would just be a horrible mistake that I doubt they would make. And if they did make it, then yeah, there you go. That's the end of Xbox.
Because, I mean, it could be a horrible mistake, or it could not be. Because I mean, you look at like the PS3 with the Blu-ray player, and everybody freaked out over the Blu-ray player because it upped the cost of the console and all that stuff. And PS3 backing Blu-ray meant that Blu-ray is what's used now. So, I mean, it looked like a mistake for like 4 years and then ended up changing the market and the way that we consume media. So it's like, like, it could even just look like a mistake initially and then end up being just how things are because it changed the way that we view entertainment, you know?
Yeah,
So,
well, here's the thing, though. Like, you're not... If you're selling an Xbox to the parents of, like, a 12-year-old kid, you're not selling it to the 12-year-old kid. The 12-year-old kid doesn't care if they can't watch DVDs on it. They watch Netflix. Their parents, on the other hand, are going to want a DVD player in it. Because then they can use it for something. Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I know a young mother in my family. Actually, 2 young mothers in my family, and they don't use DVDs. They use Netflix now.
Yeah.
How old are their kids?
But that's one instance.
I think the oldest one is like 16, 17 maybe.
Ah, well, there you go.
So,
yeah, but that's one instance though. Like,
yeah, I know. Obviously, the sample size is too small, but
we're not at a point where we can totally rule out CD drives. Like, otherwise, there are going to be so many. There's always a huge demographic that are just kind of lagging behind. As soon as everyone's on Netflix, not everyone's on Netflix. You know what I mean? It'll be like maybe 70% of the people are using Netflix, but then there's 30% of the people that still want to use CDs. And so we're just not at a point where nobody is using CDs, so may as well... Or, like, even at a point where in a couple years, nobody will be using CDs. Like, CDs are still here for a little while. If people are still using VHS tapes, then people will still be using CDs in a couple years.
To play the devil's advocate, and also sort of go with the position that I sort of have a little bit, does it matter that people are going to be using it for the next 3, 4, 5 years? Because of the one thing that I said is I think that this is going to be the last console cycle. If that is the case, why make it more expensive with a disk drive, right? Because if this is going to be the entertainment system that the Xbox is going to release for, like, forever, why waste the money and the time on a disk drive, on an optic drive, when 5 years, 10 years down the line, no one's really going to be using them anymore?
Yeah.
Another point to play the devil's advocate...
To address that one real quick, I doubt that Microsoft is planning for this one to be their last console.
Yeah,
I highly doubt it.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
They're not saying like, okay, this
okay, guys, last console.
Well, no,
let's make it cheap.
I don't think they're necessarily saying last console, but I mean, you see how long this console cycle is. Honestly, if you were talking to a business guy at Microsoft, they make way more money by longer console cycles. So, I mean, they would want the next console cycle to be even longer. So, I mean, even longer means, like, probably 10 years. I mean, this console cycle is 7, 8 years now, right? I mean,
7 years. 8 years, yeah.
8 years already, because the Xbox 360 came out in 2005. So, I mean, that means the next console cycle, 10 years, 12 years maybe? No one's really going to be using discs in 10 years, 12 years, probably. I mean, that's probably just really going to be out the window at that point. Primary media is on the way out entirely.
But at the same time, consoles rely on adoption. If people don't adopt a console, it's dead immediately. They need to make it as adoptable as possible now, or else it's not going to be around in 10 years. Because they will give it up on the whole thing.
That's partly
nobody
true
will make
and partly
games for
false. I mean, that's partly true and partly false because you could...
It's fully true. If nobody adopts the console, then nobody wants to develop games for it, and then it's
yes, that is true, but that scenario is not going to happen. There's never... Like, Xbox can make a literal box, a cardboard box, and put poop in it, and you'll still have at least 20 million sales. Like, that world, that scenario won't exist. Because, I mean, the thing is, like, they also... you always operate at a loss for about 3 years when you release a console. So they're already going to lose money. They know that. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it could be shitty and they could go out of business necessarily. But, I mean, when you look at Microsoft and Sony, gaming isn't their main thing. Like, you look at Nintendo, right, and say the Wii U fails terribly. If Nintendo goes out, then maybe that scenario is dangerous for them. But... likely, I mean, if the Xbox fails, then it's not that big of a deal. for Microsoft. Like, it's a big deal, obviously. It's billions
sure.
upon billions of dollars, but I mean, they could fall back on hardware. Same with Sony. They could fall back on hardware as well. So...
Yeah, but we're just talking about the survival of the console itself. Like, obviously, they don't want to make a console that's then going to fail.
Yeah. But I mean, the last console failure that we've had was 2 generations ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I guess I'm not saying that it's impossible, but...
No, but they need it to do well. Like, if it has a shaky start, it's not going to survive for 10 years.
Well, I mean,
they need a strong
PS3
start.
had a really shitty start.
What did, sorry?
PS3.
Yeah.
Had an awful start. Like, a really bad start. Like, no one bought that console. And you know, it's still a contender now. So, I mean, you know, it's the kind of thing, like I said, like, they have shitty... You know, like I said, I'm not necessarily saying that it's the best move for them to go no disc if that's a possibility, which isn't even a rumor either, by the way. But I don't think that it would be the worst thing. I don't think it's the end of the world if they decide to do it.
But I think the PS3 is also a good parallel in that they started with the Blu-ray, and let's just say the new Xbox starts with the CD drive. There's always the option, just like in PS3, to get rid of the Blu-ray and get rid of the CD drive.
Yeah,
you know,
true,
yeah.
true,
and, it's still
release
the
a
PS3
cheaper
or the Xbox.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. The other thing, by the way, that I wanted to mention over, you know, caring about demographics who like CDs or discs or whatever, right? We can look at 2 different retail softwares, right? We could say Steam and Origin. Okay? So Steam, digital download only, right? There's literally no possibility for you to get a physical copy of your game unless you buy it elsewhere. Right, and then activate it on Steam, which is still a possibility, right? But there's no way. Origin, on the other hand, actually, like, when I went to go buy SimCity, it said, do you want the digital download, or do you want us to send you a PC DVD? And I was like, fuck that, I'll get the digital download. Because I think it's the kind of thing that, like, pandering to an audience that is diminishing and no longer is going to exist for very much longer isn't really gonna make you that much more money. In fact, if you look in the case of Steam versus Origin, pandering to that audience makes you less money.
Well, I will say, though, that Valve, again, you know, we talked about this somewhat last week. Valve is a privately held company, and they have the luxury of being able to take the long view. That's true. Sony and Microsoft, they're going to have their investor calls, like every quarter or so. Then investor is going to, well, when do you expect the PS3 to stop being, you know, to actually earn, or PS4 to earn some money for us? That's 6 years from now. The investors are going to have a field day with that. So I'm not necessarily thinking that these companies are saying, hey, you know what, in a few years from now, the market is going to change. Yes, for the long term, they will think that way, and that's where they're trying to steer the company. But they still have those investors to answer for in the short term as well.
Yeah.
Also,
no, you're right.
Console players are still totally used to going to Walmart, buying a game, taking it home, and playing it. They're conditioned for that. So changing that is going to be an uproar.
Well, I mean, I was too, though, with PC games for most of my life, and then eventually I got into Steam and used Steam.
The tides are changing for that. Like Fire Emblem, the new Fire Emblem 3DS game had one of the biggest digital launches ever for Nintendo, partly because of the shortages, but, you know, there is that sea change there. I think it's starting to happen for consoles as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's objectively the more convenient thing.
Sure.
The one problem that you can see, and then this is also perhaps why maybe people are hesitant, is that you kind of kill the kid demographic if you go digital download only, right? Because they have to have credit cards and they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean that's one of the main problems.
Plus, it's a really common thing to give a kid a game as a Christmas present. Like, you wrap it up and give it to them.
Right.
You can't do that with a digital download either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I think we could all agree at least that it will inevitably be a thing of the past.
Yeah, eventually, but I'm saying not right now and not anytime soon enough for it to be a smart decision to try to force the issue.
Yeah.
Because especially if PS3 or if Xbox does it, PS4 doesn't, then Xbox is fucked.
Well,
it's a terrible
I don't
decision.
know.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know if that's
PS4 will
necessarily
just
true.
get so much traction that Xbox won't.
I don't think that really. I think you're over dramatizing what would be the case, because I mean, like, you could look at the same thing with with just the recent history with PS3 and Xbox 360. Like, PS3 went Blu-ray, Xbox didn't, and it didn't really affect things down the line, other than the fact that the movie industry started using Blu-ray. Like, other than that, it didn't really affect Xbox competing with PS3. You know what I mean?
No, it didn't. Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. It's all conjecture right now, and it's hard to really say. But we'll see when they actually release the information, and then we'll see the fucking hate when they find out that it's all online only. I'm sure like most console gamers, like, that'll be beyond them thinking that being online only is gonna be a bad thing. Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing that that PC Master Race people like ourselves are pissed off at because of the implications.
Depends on your internet connection.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at, like, the average, say, console gamer, and the average console gamer is statistically playing Call of Duty or Halo. They play it online all the time anyway. So
that is true, yeah.
It's really not going to affect them. In fact, it's probably, welcome more than anything else. So, I don't know.
Okay.
So is that it? Is that your last one?
No, actually, I have one more thing, which is that Elder Scrolls Online is fucking blitzing the media with information about itself, trying to say we're totally gonna be Elder Scrolls, not World of Warcraft.
Yeah, Rock Paper Shotgun actually did an interesting write-up on Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, really? I didn't read that, actually.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
Polygon article. Yeah, it seems way better than I thought it was gonna be initially. Yeah. So, I'm not opposed to it. It seems like it could be fun. I mean, if it is like an Elder Scrolls game, but online with people, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. What he said was that it loses a lot of the charm of Elder Scrolls games in that it feels like an MMO. You're dropped into the world, you're like immediately like, quest arrow, go over here, and he was like, well, fuck that, I'm gonna wander around, this is an Elder Scrolls game, I don't give a fuck. And then he wandered around for a while, and it took him like 15 minutes before he was like, there's actually nothing in this world at all unless I take a quest.
Right.
So then he went back and took a quest. So
yeah.
Very quest driven, very linear. And the combat is very MMO-like, not very Elder Scrolls-like at all. But it does have neat little things, like you can pick up worthless junk off of tables and read books of lore and stuff like that. But for the most part, he says it's an MMO, not an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah. I mean, they are at least trying, I think, to go for the more action-oriented combat.
Yeah.
Like, more Elder Scrolls-y kind of combat. I mean, obviously it's going to be more MMO-focused, but I mean, you could look at stuff like Guild Wars 2, or what was that game, Terra Online, where they tried to do MMOs, but with like kind of glamour fighter mechanics type of stuff. And it's like, I at least appreciate the effort. And I love the Elder Scrolls world, so I don't know, maybe it can be fun. Maybe like, I still am optimistic about that kind of stuff. Actually, I have another news piece that isn't really a news piece of stuff that I have open, but it just reminded me. Fucking Lord British, the whatchamacallit, Richard Garriott, creator of Ultima, recently just launched a Kickstarter to basically reboot Ultima. Ultima is coming back in Kickstarter form, which is cool. I mean, it's original MMO.
I never played it, but
I never did either.
Interesting things.
Yes, I've heard a lot of really interesting things about how it plays. I mean, it was MMOs before they became homogenized, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go on the internet, but you can search for really funny trolling stories about about how before they had all these systems in place, people would throw each other like crazy, right? Like not sanitized like modern MMOs are, so to speak.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, there is this one story that Lord British himself. Now, back in Ultima Online, Lord British he controlled himself, right? He was Lord British, Richard Garriott, so he would run around in the world as well, right?
Yeah.
And he would catch a thief, right? So you catch a thief, don't do this, don't steal from other players, right? And then after that, he found him stealing again, and he caught him again. And the thief turned around and said, "Look, out of character for a moment here, Your Highness Lord British or whatever, I'm a thief. This is what I do. Don't stop me from doing it." And Lord British just let him go.
Yeah.
Because that's how MMOs were in Ultima Online. It's certainly a less theme parkish kind of experience than it is now. Certainly you get grief like crazy if you don't like that experience, and that's not the game for you. But that's how it was back then.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing that it really kind of evokes, right? Is that, like, Ultima Online, you have the potential to grief the shit out of people. But I think because it was, despite the fact that it was extremely popular, compared to the MMOs of today, it was a totally niche audience. I mean, imagine Ultima Online mechanics with 15 million unique users like Blizzard had at its peak of World of Warcraft. It's a weird idea. It's a weird kind of sociological experiment that kind of, you have to sort of create game mechanics to balance griefing and people being assholes. And I think now they are going to have a bigger audience than they did with the original Ultima Online and Ultima 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea. The Kickstarter itself shows some gameplay of yeah. By the way, it's called Shroud of the Avatar, and I will link it in stream chat because people asked. And yeah, it does involve multiplayer combat. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a full MMO type of thing, as far as I can tell. But I don't know. It's the gameplay. It doesn't look that good. Like graphically, it looks pretty bad. It looks like Mountain Blade, basically. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing if the mechanics and the gameplay is there. Like, I don't care about the graphics at all, really, if the gameplay's there. But it's I don't know. We'll really just have to see. We still haven't really seen the first project of these big game developers that are going to Kickstarter now. Because you have like the big high budget ones like Wasteland and Shadowrun and fucking Double Fine's $2 million funded game that had no premise whatsoever. Like, Double Fine was just like, "Hey, we want to make a game." Yeah, right, yeah. But I mean, people gave $2 million, like, "Hey, Double Fine's gonna make a game. Fuck it, here's some money." So, I mean, we still haven't seen one of those yet. We've seen some Kickstarter successes, like FTL, say, which is great. I mean, that game was amazing. It came out, and it was just as good as it was offered on the Kickstarter. But I mean, we haven't seen these ones from these old guys, these old gaming guys who are getting back into the industry out of the studio system. So, I don't know. Star Citizen's another one that is going to come out. So, we'll see how all that kind of works out.
I think to bring it back to what we were talking about with regards to Ultima Online, I should say that I never played Ultima Online, so you can take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Right.
It's never going to be Ultima Online ever again. It's impossible for an MMO to succeed on the level they are expecting and be that griefer friendly. It's just never going to happen again. Yeah. I mean, to bring it back to Elder Scrolls Online, the lack of exploration sucks, because that's exactly why I play Elder Scrolls 4. But most MMO players, I think, and I know I'm making a broad generalization here, are really looking for a progress meter in a game, right? Yeah. I mean, they just want to gain levels, get more powerful, go grind the end level content over and over again, watch those experience meters go up, get the gear, and move on.
Well, here's the thing. I honestly don't know if MMO players really do want that. Because I mean, like, behaviorally, Yes, you do, because it's a variable ratio reward system, which I won't go into what that is.
Right.
But like, so they want that, of course.
Right.
But that said, I don't know, because you look at, say, like the Old Republic, where it had a huge release, millions of people were playing, and then 90% of the audience left after the first month. And what did they do? They went back to World of Warcraft because it was the same shit, and they already had World of Warcraft, which already had the end game and the PvP and all the stuff because it had years of content in it. So I don't know if MMO players necessarily want that same old shit anymore. Like, they'll pay for it, sure, but then they'll go back to World of Warcraft.
Right. Well, my point wasn't that they wanted the same old shit. The point I was making was that they want a progress meter. I mean, what they want is just that feeling of progressing. Yeah. So if they see a reason to go back to World of Warcraft, which offers the same kind of experience, but with so much more stuff from years ago, they will. And as you say, the Star Wars MMO, whatever it's called, that just came out, I think one of the complaints with that was that it didn't have endgame.
Yeah.
At least when it first came out, the endgame was awful. Well, so I hear.
That sort of begs the question, right? Is that should then, if that's the case, and honestly, like, because basically the reason that the Old Republic failed because of the lack of endgame was because Blizzard and World of Warcraft had the endgame because the game had been out since like 2005. So I mean, they've just been adding content. World of Warcraft didn't have endgame either when it first came out. Really, it had like 2 raid dungeons. So I mean, it'll always at launch the MMO will be worse than World of Warcraft because of that kind of thing. So it begs the question, right? Should they be aiming for the MMO audience? Or should they be aiming for the RPG audience? Because you see, Skyrim sold a fuck ton. A metric fuck ton. Way beyond what I think anyone expected, because it was the top 3. It was in the top 3 of most sold games, right up there with Call of Duty and something like so. So I mean, maybe you should go for the RPG audience, not the MMO audience, because maybe the MMO audience doesn't want your type of game.
Well, that's the problem, right? I mean, I just, they're definitely going to turn me off because I am one of the millions of people who bought Skyrim not for the MMO experience, but for everything that made it Skyrim. Right. You know, even if they decided to make the new Elder Scrolls MMO something like a Skyrim with a social aspect layered over it, it would still be more appealing to me than the World of Warcraft almost like clone that they have going for them now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And so, I mean, I think that is an interesting question to talk about, is should MMO companies aim for that demographic or the MMO demographic? And then the truth about it, too, is that are any of the investors who are going to pay for these... I mean, MMOs are undoubtedly the most expensive games to make.
Right.
So are they going to accept that they're not going to aim for the MMO niche? And they're going to aim for something else, so...
Right, and that's the thing that boggles the mind for me. I mean, I think it's fairly clear at this point that going up against World of Warcraft is a loser's gambit, and a very expensive one at this point. Yeah. So I don't know why people still keep trying to throw their hats into it. I mean, an Elder Scrolls MOBA would be more successful now.
That would be pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I would play that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the MMO market, that space is just weird, and no one really knows how to handle it. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. I hope for the best for Elder Scrolls Online. Also keep in mind, everyone watching at home, that it's not being touched by Bethesda at all. Besides lore. Yeah. So have tempered expectations is all I'll say.
Right.
Yeah, it's from what I read again in Rock Paper Shotgun, it seemed like generic MMO with Elder Scrolls thrown in. You know, it's not an Elder Scrolls game in the traditional sense. It's not.
Yeah. No,
which is too bad because again,
it's ZeniMax. It's ZeniMax more than Bethesda. So.
I mean, this is so common with game projects that are driven by investors. They'll be like, we don't want you to make something new or interesting because we can't be guaranteed that'll sell. Instead, we'll do something guaranteed to fail. Why don't you guys try to copy Call of Duty or World of Warcraft and steal their audience, even though we've seen over and over again that doesn't really work. You can't do that.
Well, it does though short term. Like if you get in just as like you look at all these MOBAs, right? I mean, they're getting in just as the scene is getting popular, and people are willing to put down the money and try it out.
Exactly. This is the time to do it, but we've seen with World of Warcraft it's too late many times,
right.
over and over and over again. In fact.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And similar with Call of Duty. Call of Duty is also very entrenched. You can't make, a very extremely casual first-person shooter again and just steal everybody from Call of Duty. They're not going to play it. They have their game. They like it.
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a tough road to tread, I think, as a developer of an MMORPG. Honestly, me personally, as an actual fan of Skyrim, despite the fact that it's universally by at least like YouTubers like hated on. I had a good time with Skyrim, and I put in my 100 hours, and then I was bored of it. But I got 100 hours out of it, so I don't really care. But honestly, I would have very much liked if Bethesda just added a co-op mode to Skyrim or something.
That's good enough. I love that.
Cool, yeah.
That's more than enough for me. Like I would have happily done that. Like if I could add just even up to just 4 players, even 3 players into my world and walk around, that'd be great.
Oh my god, I would love to play. Yeah, it would be so awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Now, somebody was working on a mod for that how long has it been since Skyrim came out? It's been more than a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Probably,
Wow, time passes. But somebody was working on a mod. I haven't heard anything about that since, so I wouldn't have any hope for it.
Huh. Oh, of co-op?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of Skyrim.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's doable. Like I've mentioned before. I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast, but I've mentioned before on streams that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas multiplayer mod was awesome. It was really good. And people modded it, and it was fun. You get to run around in San Andreas with like up to 100 players. You could just go with your friends and just go around, mess around. It was great. It was a great time. So it's doable. It's difficult, but it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Where's Cam?
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I was wondering.
Well, Cam, have you played any MMOs?
Yeah, no. What counts as an MMO? I've asked you this question multiple times, Rob, and I
Just say the game you're thinking of.
I feel like the conclusion that we always reach is no, I haven't.
The truth is that it's kind of muddied right now what makes an MMO. Because there are a lot of games, I think it's a lot like MOBAs right now, where a lot of games are just calling it an MMO, or a lot of games are just calling it a MOBA, and it's not necessarily...
SimCity did that. They're like, we have an MMO SimCity, where you can play with up to 4 other people. It's like, no, that's not what massively multiplayer means.
Yeah. It's like MMO is almost a buzzword at this point to try to draw in an audience that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So... it's hard to say, but an MMO generally, if we're talking about an MMORPG, which is really along the lines of what we're talking about right now, it basically means something where you can play with at least 50 players on one server, essentially.
Yeah, and generally you'll have a static character that just stays, you keep all your items and your stats and everything, and you can take that and play with other people. Like, if it is a 50-person server, there are probably a lot of different servers that you can take your character onto. So you end up playing with thousands of people with your same character.
I think the word there is persistent. So,
it's
persistent characters, persistent world.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily say persistent world. Like, Realm of the Mad God, I would absolutely say is an MMO, but it does not have persistent worlds.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then you could also look, I guess, at like World of Warcraft Cataclysm, right, where 2 people can be in the same zone and be talking to each other or whatever, and one guy could see it one way and the other guy can see it another way, which is a thing, which is a feature that has been coming into MMOs more frequently. So, yeah. Basically, Cam, we have no fucking clue what an MMO is either.
I have played an MMO, actually. I put in at least... This is not a lot by MMO standards, but I think I put in at least 50 to 100 hours for Dungeons & Dragons Online. So, and I am done. I am so done with that and MMOs in general. Oh
yeah,
my God.
me too. Me
same.
too, completely.
I
I played World of Warcraft, and like I didn't play it that much as most people did. Like I never got into the raiding or doing shit like that because I just played with friends online. And then they stopped playing like with friends, and they got more into the variable ratio reward system and just getting to the highest level and getting the best gear, and it's just like, oh, this is boring. I like the times when we went and explored the world and ran naked through the really high level zones and trolled people for hours. And and then I just stopped. It was just boring.
Yeah, I probably put about 800 hours into RuneScape.
Damn, 8.
But that's over the course of like 10 years, though.
Yeah, well, I guess
So-
that's pretty sad to say that I have like 600 hours of Dota
Yeah,
over the course of like maybe a year.
yeah,
Almost
exactly.
a year, so.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge amount in terms of like games you're addicted to for the amount of time I played it, but I played it for a long time. Like as far as like portion of my life that I was playing that game.
Well,
And
you
I've
guys
done-
go ahead and continue that conversation for a moment. I need to go to the bathroom.
All right, have fun.
I'm sorry, I
will.
spaced.
Oh, man.
I spaced out for a moment there. What were we talking about, Key?
Oh, RuneScape. Played a lot of it.
RuneScape.
Yeah.
Yeah, browser MMOs are an interesting thing, and I suspect I'm surprised we haven't seen more of them, to be quite honest with you. But it might be. I mean, you know what Jagex is doing, right? They're making a Transformers browser MMO.
Transformers browser MMO.
Yeah, which is really strange. But you know,
Huh.
I mean, you can tell me because you've played RuneScape before that the audience for RuneScape is younger, right?
In general, yeah.
In general, yeah.
The vast majority of like the peasant class is all 12-year-olds. But
Yeah,
there are a
because-
number of older people who understand the game more and are at the higher levels too.
Right.
It's this multi-tiered thing. Like RuneScape is weird, man. It's a
Yeah.
really defined class system, and the upper class and the lower class basically don't talk to each other. So when I was playing at the end of it, like I was playing with mostly 18 to 25-year-olds, you know.
Right,
But
right.
there's all those little kids underneath, like keeping the economy afloat by picking flags all day.
Right.
You know.
Right, that's the thing. I will say, actually, you know what? I forgot what I was going to say. My memory is completely gone now. But I think also, you know, just as a show note, maybe we need the word podcast. We need to go deeper just so that the confused people coming to the chat don't get so confused anymore.
I think it's pretty clear if you look at it for a second what's going on.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
yeah, I dug all of these holes and then it just happened to freeze at that moment.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened? What did I miss?
Oh, just people, sometimes, like, once every 3 podcasts, somebody will come in and be confused and think that I'm playing The Binding of Isaac and the screen froze.
Well, those are two in this case. Hi Turtle owns, by the way. This is a podcast at the moment. We don't
Yeah.
we cannot say podcast for the game, so it's saying Dota 2 right now. Okay. Any more topics?
Yeah, I have 2 things to talk about. The first thing is you guys have, I'm sure, seen this, and I at least showed it to Rob and possibly Green. But it's this game that is in alpha right now, and it's called Banished. And
yeah.
it's basically like a city builder based on survival,
Ah, yes.
Mm.
and it looks so cool.
It does.
It's like SimCity mixed with like Don't Starve plus combat.
Is it
Like-
Dwarf Fortress?
Yes. That's basically what it is. It's Dwarf Fortress, but 3D, nice graphics, and less creative control.
Okay.
Because you'll build like a blacksmithery or something, which you can do the same thing in Dwarf Fortress. But I mean, you know, you have to carve out each little piece of land. This you just like plop it down as if it's an RTS, but it looks very good.
Cool.
It looks really good.
So it's in alpha right now?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
alpha, and he's saying that he's not gonna like put it on Greenlight or kickstart it until it's polished to the point that he wants to show it off. But
Good.
there is
Good philosophy.
there is a trailer on YouTube, which I will link in the chat right now, and it looks so goddamn cool. You can buy like archers and just like warriors and stuff, so they can go out hunting for you or battle your enemies.
Hold on. So you get units that you can control.
Yeah. Shut your mouth. And you can buy like medics and like, oh god, it looks just so damn cool.
Whoa. Medics.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Unbelievable. And tell me, Cam, can you get resources and make buildings?
Yeah, you also use your mouse and keyboard. Which you actually shove up your fucking ass, Green. You just shove it right up. And
I just think you're doing a really bad job of pointing out what makes this game interesting.
Anyway, the next game that I just bought for $3 on Steam, it's on sale right now. Because of one GIF that I saw. I only saw one GIF, and it's like usually a $15 game, and it's called. Have you guys heard of Just Cause?
Just Cause 2. Yep.
Yeah, Just Cause 2. I saw this one GIF, and I was like, I'm buying this game for $3. It's worth my $3.
You've never played it before?
No, I've never played it before. But
you'll have fun.
Yeah.
But the one GIF that I saw was a guy driving in his car behind a jet. He hops out of his car onto the top of it, and then flies through the air off the edge of a cliff.
Yep.
And jumps onto the jet and enters it and starts flying away.
Yep.
Here's a couple fun facts. One fun fact: did you know that Just Cause 2 has, besides Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, the largest video game world, and also obviously Minecraft, the largest video game world ever?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't
huge.
know that, actually. It is very big, yeah.
It eclipses World of Warcraft by like 4 or 5 times.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I've never played World of Warcraft, so I don't know how big that is, but
It's pretty fucking big.
yeah.
Oh, Cam, I'm about to blow your mind. There is a multiplayer mod for Just Cause 2.
I didn't know that.
And it's supposed to be quite good.
We should play that.
Oh,
We should, actually.
I just bought it for $3. You guys got to get on that.
Is it $3? Because
yeah,
I will buy
it's
it.
$3 on Steam right now.
You don't own it, Rob?
No, I don't. You know, I know that it's like a huge cult classic game. Like
yeah, it's
that.
really cool. The gimmick of it is that you get this grappling hook that you can use in so many different ways. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, I've seen like so much gameplay of it. I just never picked it up. But I know it's like a cult classic game because I mean it's known as being not particularly like good, but it's awesome apparently. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah, it's really neat. It's like it's so much about just absurdity. It's just a crazy fucking game.
Just as a personal note, you guys, for those of you who have played, you remember Bolo Santosi, right? That one woman with the strange accent?
I didn't get that far.
Oh, well, she's one of the main mission givers.
Gotcha.
So you didn't get very far into the game at all.
Well, I didn't do that many missions. I spent a lot of time just fucking around on the island.
Yep. Her accent is what I sounded like when I lived in Singapore. Except maybe a little less stagey. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome.
Now that's a real Malaysian or Singaporean accent. People tell me I have a Malaysian accent or ask me that, and I say I don't really. It's true, I don't. But if you listen to Bolo Santosi in Just Cause 2, that's actually a really good approximation.
See, Zen is just using some misdirection here with the Malaysian. He is actually a Swedish terrorist.
He spent some time in Germany. That's why his accent sounds so German.
Right, exactly, yeah. No, the other fun fact or not fun fact, but the thing that I actually wanted to segue into, because I know another game that Cam actually started playing that actually has a news topic about it. Cam recently picked up the Humble Bundle, which Humble Bundle started doing this really cool thing where they're doing Humble Bundle weekly sales, which isn't even a bundle, it's just a game. And
you pay what you want, yeah.
Yeah, you pay what you want for a game, and the one that they did originally was Bastion, because that's been in every fucking sale ever, and Cam loves it. Speaking of which, segue! Supergiant Games just released some new information about their new game called Transistor, which looks very much like a spiritual successor to Bastion.
Yeah, that looks really fucking cool.
There's a fucking video that Total Biscuit made of gameplay of that, and I really want to listen to it, and I haven't yet.
Yeah, I saw him making that video too, and I have likewise not actually watched it from PAX East.
Yeah, but Logan Cunningham is apparently voicing a sword.
Yep.
In this game, and the protagonist is a singer who's lost her voice. It's been stolen from her. And you kill things with a magic sword. who talks like Logan Cunningham. It's gonna be fun.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about this actually when we first heard the news, off podcast, off stream, and whatever. But I want to reiterate, like, the Transistor looks very, very much like a spiritual successor to Bastion, which I'm excited for because Bastion was a great game, right? So, I mean, that's cool. Though, I would have been really interested to see Supergiant Games try something different.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been very interesting. I mean, I'm obviously not going to complain because I'm sure it's going to be great, and it's fine that they're doing things within their framework of success. But it would have been nice to see them do something different, especially considering the sort of press statements that they were saying.
Yeah. I gotta say, though, I'm happy that they're doing something Bastion-like, just because there is nothing Bastion-like.
Right, yeah,
and Bastion was such a great, unique experience. I think more games like that cannot be bad. Like, it would be one thing if Bastion, if it was like, Edmund McMillan did Super Meat Boy, but we have platformers. Those exist.
Yeah,
it'd be one thing if Bastion was one of a type, but Bastion is totally fully unique, and I would love to see another game like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the kind of thing that it's like, what... like, I can say that I wish they did something else, but then what else could they do, right? I mean, like, what's in the indie game scene? You have, like, tower defense and puzzle platformers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
I really don't want them to make
those.
a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, like, I don't know what else they could have made.
Yeah, and it would be tough for them to live up to expectations too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's totally understandable that they're doing Transistor, and I'm still totally excited for it. And none of that excitement is lessened by the fact that they're not doing something different. Though I will say that I would have been interested to see.
I would have been as well. I would love to see what they would do.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting games, still can't wait for Mugenics.
Yeah. That'll be a good time.
Do we have like an estimated release date for that yet?
No.
Nope.
God, I can't wait.
Yeah. That's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
That is gonna be a good game.
I wonder if the cats have actual barbed penises in that game.
I hope so.
Me too.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. So that you can have some cat docking action. That would be a great time. I mean, just barbed penis and barbed penis action. It would just be great.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just extremely graphic action. Actually, something, because we were talking about just something that doesn't really have a news topic, but is also really intriguing and really fun. I'm really excited for Obsidian's South Park game. I want that to come out.
Yeah, are they... What's going on with that?
I don't know. Oh,
Nothing.
Actually, did we mention... No, we actually didn't mention Saints Row...
The
Saints Row 4, yeah.
That looks insane.
Yeah, that's another news topic. Essentially, and the reason that I even remembered it is because we were just talking about South Park, which, was bought up after THQ dissolved. Same with Saints Row. They're already going to make a Saints Row 4. Essentially, it's a failed... Well, I mean, it's not really a failed, but I mean, it's a DLC that's being turned into a full release. And here's the premise. Here's
Cam
the premise.
Cam just dropped from the call.
Good.
That's not good.
Well,
Anyway, the premise is that the Third Street Saints, which are the titular gang in the game, they have become the president of the United States somehow, collectively, and the world is invaded by aliens, and they have to acquire superpowers to fight the aliens.
Wow, so it's XCOM.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. Except with dildo bats and stuff. So,
yes!
XCOM with dildo bats, essentially.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's that. That's some news for you.
Yep.
I mean, it's probably going to release this holiday season. It doesn't look any different from Saints Row the Third, except for the superpowers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have customizable superpowers, that'll be awesome. That'll be great. I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah, that would
honestly.
be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun. Because, I mean, honestly, like I've mentioned before, when I played Saints Row, the second one, actually, because I didn't play the third that much, I basically role-played a supervillain. Because what I would do is, and this is me with all of my friends playing it together, where we would take turns on the controller. We role-played basically this guy who had the Cockney accent. He would wear this white tuxedo, and wear this like Spartan helmet, because you could get a Spartan helmet in the game. And the only thing that he would do would be he would fly around in a biplane and shoot at buildings. And that's basically my entire experience with Saints Row 2. Just go around murdering people. So, you know, if it allows me to play more of a supervillain, then fuck yeah, whatever. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
So to segue very poorly from that, actually, if you guys haven't been keeping up with Paranautical activity, it's getting really, really good, really fast.
Yeah, I actually watched your first episode of that Let's Play today.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're releasing new weapons all the time. There are a couple of new floors now. So now it's like it's not a game that you can beat in one sitting. It's actually really hard now, which is good. It's getting more to be more like Isaac. And there are a lot of different items and stuff. So if you like watched my first look on that where I was saying this is not fleshed out at all, that's not true anymore. I'm really excited to see where that's going. The version 1.2 of the beta just came out very recently. So I highly recommend if you guys looked at that, you know, when I mentioned it on the podcast maybe a month and a half ago, and we're like, I don't know about this. Check it out again. It's really neat. It's a cool game. It's a first-person roguelike, if I didn't articulate that. It's basically like Binding of Isaac and Doom put together. It's really good.
Yeah, I've been meaning to like contact the developer about that game, make a video on it, because it does look really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. It looks pretty darn cool, I do have to say. I mean, I like pretty much anything with roguelike elements. I think that works for a lot of things. I'm looking at you, MMORPGs. But,
well, that's,
Salem.
Realm of the Mad God.
Yeah, right, Realm of the Mad God. And I think it's great. Realm of the Mad God's a lot of fun.
It basically is a roguelike MMO.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. And imagine that, like, even more fleshed out.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Actually
haven't played that game in months, and they update it frequently, so I wonder what it's like now.
Right. Okay, so by the way, Cameron is texting me. Apparently, his internet died, so I told him, you can probably keep your Audacity going and get on your phone. He said, oh god, sorry. And he said,
professional.
Yeah, and he said, and computer crashed, what the fuck?
Come the fuck on.
Yeah. So that sucks. Also leads to possible problems for you, Green, as well, as you're going to be editing this.
It could mean that you guys are getting shitty audio quality because I'll have to pull it from the Twitch site again.
Yep.
So I apologize if that happens.
We are learning this right now, but future you viewers watching on Green's channel, sorry.
Yeah, you'll probably already know from the description if that's the case.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh well.
But apparently Cam's internet is fine, at least.
Yeah, it's just his computer crashing.
Yeah.
Maybe you just left Windows Update on again.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Oh, no.
Hashtag blame Cam 2013. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, that sucks. By the way, don't buy Time Warner. Just don't do it. Bad company.
Yeah.
Really bad company. I have no problem bashing them on the internet. There's like, what, 2,000 people listening to this? Fuck Time Warner. Eat it. That's not gonna matter in their like, you know, numbers or whatever. I don't care. Fuck y'all. Yeah. I said y'all to emphasize my point. I never say y'all. I actually hate the word y'all.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I figured it was important.
So another segue to an MMO, a game that might be an MMO. I'm not really sure if I would call it one. Castle Doctrine. Really interesting game that I've been playing a little bit of lately. It's by Jason Rohrer.
Yeah,
What's his
Jason
name?
Rohrer, yeah.
Yep.
Who's done a lot of really strange like artsy games dealing with like family and things along that theme, and he's made an MMO kind of game that's really interesting to me. It's like you are in this world where there are just robbers everywhere. Everybody is trying to rob everybody's house, and you only have $2,000, and you have to build something to defend your family and your money with. So you make a maze. It's very like, I'm not going to call it Minecraft-like, but it feels like making a thing in Minecraft, but it's 2D. But you like design your house in any way you want with a bunch of different tools like wires and pressure pads and electric floors and dogs and shit, and just make it so that you don't think people can get to your safe, and then you go out and try to rob other people's houses and get their money. Mm-hmm. And the only way to make money in this world is to just rob people. So the people who are very successful at that can make extremely elaborate, crazy houses. And it's in very early alpha right now. If you just Google Castle Doctrine, you can... Well, you'll probably get a Wikipedia article, but Google, like, Castle Doctrine game or Jason Rohrer or something. You can buy it. I think the alpha is $8 right now, and it's going to be $16 when it comes out. It's a neat game. It's really interesting. Yeah, Rob, you've played it as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I would actually suggest that you viewers at home watch my video on Castle Doctrine, because I think it's one of the only ones out there right now of just an explanation of first impressions of what the actual game is. If I can skip all of the stuff that Green said and go basically to my summation of what I would say about it, is that it's a really, really interesting concept. The concept is something that no one has done before. It's extremely innovative. And if you watch that gameplay and you say, hey, you know what? The gameplay isn't there yet because it's in alpha, but the idea is good enough that I'm willing to put my money down, then do it. Because it's good to support that kind of practice in the games industry. If it doesn't affect you in any way, then don't put your money down. And the truth is also, it's going to be a niche game no matter what, because not everyone is going to be into this type of gameplay. But I think it's a really great idea. It's a really great concept, and it is fun. It's not there yet. There's nothing really, like, it's not so much a game yet as it is a proof of concept. Very similar to actually the press build of Delver's Drop.
For sure. Yeah.
It's just bare bones. It's a skeleton.
That said, though, there's a feature in the game where you can watch security tapes of people who attempt to rob you and then die. Yeah. I've very rarely had that much fun in a game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is so much fun watching somebody die trying to rob your shit.
Yeah, I mean, it has like a ton of mechanics that are just amazing and so fun. Also, by the way, how the movement works is like Rogue. Like the original Rogue, ASCII Rogue, which maybe doesn't resonate for most people. What might is it's like sort of the Stars of the Pit or Dungeons of Dreadmore.
It's action turn-based.
Yeah, exactly. You
move, enemies move.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how the gameplay is. I honestly would suggest you watch the summary video. Not even you know what? Because I don't want to sound like I'm plugging my channel, because we do that at the end of the podcast anyway. Watch anyone's video of it. I don't really care, but I just say, because I have a summary of it, or just sort of a, an overall idea of what the game is. I don't know if anybody else has a video.
Don't watch Rob's video.
Yeah, don't watch my video. Fuck me. Fucking alpaca's a cunt. No, but yeah, like really just watch some gameplay, because it's really cool. I think actually, hold on, I think Jason Rohrer has a YouTube channel where he shows off gameplay, but he doesn't actually explain anything. But yeah, honestly, it looks really cool. You are definitely going to hear more about it 6 months from now.
Oh, for sure.
Because it already has taken like the fancy of a bunch of video game journalism sites at this point. So, cool stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait until that gets developed a little bit more.
Definitely.
Do you guys want to start taking some questions from the chat?
I think so. We've gone over an hour at this point.
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
Hey, chat, ask some questions. We'll answer them.
Okay.
In the meantime, though, Rob brought up Delver's Drop for a second. Have we talked about that on the podcast before?
I don't think so, actually. I
Not
think
sure if we have.
that 1 week that we didn't have the podcast is when Delver's Drop had its whole thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the Kickstarter is over now, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah.
looks interesting. It's like a physics-based roguelike Link to the Past, basically.
Mhm.
Should be fun.
Yeah, I mean that does look, again, very much like Castle Doctrine. It's a proof of concept, and the skeleton is there.
Yeah, I
And
mean, there isn't even a publicly playable thing. There's just a press build that they released to
Right,
sort
yeah.
of promote their Kickstarter.
Although it was shown at PAX East, and it had a playable build there.
I wonder if
that
it's the
people
same
are
one.
playing. It probably is. I wouldn't be
Probably.
surprised if it was.
Yeah.
But it was released to the public there, so I mean that's cool at least.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be loads more gameplay footage of it. On
Yeah,
the
they're
internet.
aiming for a closed beta in June, I think.
Right,
For
yeah, this
Kickstarter
summer,
backers. Yeah.
Okay, is anyone keeping track of the questions, or shall I?
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm just kind of glancing at them.
Oh, okay. All right,
I'm not-
so
but
it's-
if you see any you want to answer, for sure, just
yeah,
point 'em
I
out.
probably should start snatching some questions
Yeah.
from the chat.
You know what? I'll answer a question right now. Do I have any
Yeah.
good ideas on a trap for Castle Doctrine? For like stuff that they would add in. Honestly, I could even say at this point right now they need almost nothing else because the thing is with Castle Doctrine is it sort of fosters emergent gameplay. And the truth is, to sort of foster emergent gameplay, a lot of times it's good to have limited resources to use.
For sure, yeah.
So I
And
think
already you can already do so much.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can do so many crazy things in Castle Doctrine. Like you can use like cats to trigger switches that will electrify floors, and like it's so complex already that it's even beyond me. Like I don't even make mazes in my own house because I'm just lazy at this point.
Yeah, my strategy for Castle Doctrine is to make the stupidest trap ever and make it look like I've hidden my vault in there so it looks easy, and then just put a dog where my vault should be. And then meanwhile, my vault is like in a corner somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's misdirection. It was so good.
It was
when I
so
saw-
good. Oh my God.
When I was watching you play it.
Yeah, nobody found my vault. All they would do was just walk up to the dog trap and get murdered. It was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the extent of my strategy. I'm not like making switch puzzles or anything.
Yeah, but there is
Okay.
some crazy shit in there already.
Yeah.
Like people have some crazy stuff which is highlighted in my video.
Would you ever do a Diablo 3 Lord of Destruction Let's Play, maybe
Diablo
co-op?
2.
The thing I've learned... Sorry, Diablo 2, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I've learned with ARPGs is that they don't make good Let's Plays.
Yeah.
They
People
really
don't. People don't like watching those. Because it's so much about like, oh, neat, I found another thing. Let's read the stats on this. Let's read the stats on this. And people don't want to see that.
Yeah.
There's too much inventory management, not enough action.
I think it's better in a stream more than anything else, to be honest.
Me too.
Because I watched some streamers stream Diablo 3 and stuff, and that was pretty fun. But
Yeah.
as far as a Let's Play is concerned, it's just not really, it's not the right format, I think,
No, it isn't. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay. Alright, Pseudo Something is asking, what are your top picks to buy during the indie sale?
Oh man, there's so many good games.
Yeah.
Super Meat Boy is really cheap. Isaac's really cheap, obviously. Bastion, I think, though that's on the Humble thing as well, for probably cheaper, and you can give it to charity while you buy it. Let's see, I didn't even spend that
Let me
much
take
time
a look
looking
at
it
this
because I
stuff.
own them.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, they have FTL and Hotline Miami and
Yep.
Super Hexagon.
Yep, those
So-
are all good.
Honestly, I could even say all three of those games just for the soundtrack. Like
Oh my
more
God,
than
yeah.
more than even that. Like I can even say just for the soundtrack, FTL, Hotline Miami, and Super Hexagon have some of the best video game soundtracks this year. I would even almost go so far as to say ever. Like Hotline Miami, FTL, they're both amazing. Super Hexagon has like great 8-bit music. And besides that, they're great games. So
Yeah,
There's
for
that.
sure. There are a lot of great classics in here. Braid is really good. Limbo's really good. It's one of those opportunities where if there's some indie game everybody's been telling you, you got to play this, and you haven't done it because it hasn't been on sale, now is probably the time. Go check if it's on sale, because almost all of them are.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Isaac is on there for $1.30. If you don't have fucking Isaac by now.
Here's one that people might not think of. To the Moon for $4 is a really excellent game. You should check that out if you want a nice story.
Yes. I am so tempted to Let's Play that. And I've been saying this for at least 8 months now, but I might do it soon.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, they have Half Minute Hero there, too. I never played that, but I wanted to. Interesting.
Cave Story Plus is really, really, really good if you haven't played that somehow.
They already have Runner 2 on here as well, even though that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Was Alone. It's another one.
Yeah, lots of great stuff. Basically
Starve.
every single indie game. Is Don't Starve on there?
Yeah, Don't Starve is on there.
How much?
It's $11.99.
That's how much it always
off.
is. Yeah.
Well, it's
that's
it's $15.
Sale.
It's $15. Yeah. It's but Don't Starve, good game.
Yeah, that's a great game as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Kentucky Route Zero is $18.75.
Yeah, the discount isn't great on that, but it is fantastic. And I would say, again, I've said this before in the last podcast, maybe. It's probably an early runner for the Game of the Year for me.
Wow.
Yeah, but, I will caution, there's no... If you like adventure games, you would enjoy it. If you don't like adventure games, you probably will not. And if you don't like esoteric adventure games with fantastic writing, you probably would. Because that's the core of the game.
Yeah. I'm actually tempted to look into Star Drive as well, because I fucking love 4X games, and I saw some gameplay of it, and it looks good. It looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, I know you guys aren't necessarily 4X type guys. I love that stuff.
I don't think I've tried it much.
Really want to get into the 4X genre. I just haven't been able to do it for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
It's such a... more than anything else, it's a time sink.
Yeah.
So, there's that, but it is so satisfying. Look, part of the reason I like roguelikes is I'm really into games that let you sort of make your own story, and 4X games are among them. Roguelikes are among them. Those are just the type of games that make your own story, you make your own path. I love that shit. I love customization in video games, which is actually why I'm attracted to even Saints Row, because I love just customizing characters. I just love that. I love making my own way in a game, and 4X games let you do that, and give me more options, the better, and I'm cool with it. So if you're into that type of thing, where it's going to take a really long time, but you're going to have an extremely satisfying experience, where there's going to be a lot of failure, and there's going to be a lot of you messing up and being wrong, and then being like, all right, well, next time I'm going to try going naval first, or going this first, or whatever, and spending hundreds of hours, then it's for you. If not, then I would say stay away from 4X games. If that's not the type of thing.
Terraria for the console. Any of you going to get it? Because I'm not.
I don't have a console. So no.
Yeah, I don't care, really.
I sure wish they would update the PC version as well.
I don't care about that either, really.
Yeah. Yeah, now that I think about it, I never finished the hard mode of Terraria either.
Yeah.
It started getting very grindy.
Yeah, Terraria kind of is that way. And
yeah, it was fun grindy in the early levels, though. It's so much fun just wandering through caves. But there's some gold ore, yeah!
Yeah.
But when it gets to the point where it's okay, I need 30 souls of light, so I just have to sit here letting these monsters spawn and then killing them.
Yep.
Then it's over.
No
for me.
fun. Yeah, no fun at all.
That is boring as hell. If I had to search out souls, that would have been great.
I loved that aspect of Terraria where you could just, just jump into a cave and see what's there. I loved that. That's so much fun.
Yeah, I loved that, and I also loved
I
also loved taming the land and being realizing that I could make my own glowing mushroom farm. That was fun. Going down and getting the glowing mushroom seeds that I found in this cave, and it was the only one I'd ever seen. It's this is awesome. Then I go back up and I cultivate my own glowing mushroom farm at home so I could have them. That was fun. But when it turns into just kill the same monster over and over again, then it's
yeah,
done.
Yeah, so for that reason, no. I don't really care. Starbound though, when that comes out, I'll be excited for it.
That'll be fun, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Any more questions that any of you want to highlight?
Somebody asked if I would ever consider playing another Metroid game on the channel. That could be fun. Actually, I'm a huge fan of the Metroid series, so maybe.
Yeah, you should. I have been running Zelda Let's Play, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah, I could probably knock out like Zero Mission in 3 episodes or something too.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Actually, Battlame says, would we see a Company of Heroes or Ruse LP or just RTS games in general? Honestly, like, I was afraid of doing the StarCraft Let's Play on my channel because I was afraid of the hate that I would get.
God.
I honestly have gotten, like, no hate on StarCraft at all.
Wow.
So, yeah, which is surprising because, like, their game, like, FTL, like, it's, like, so much hate.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So like, it was weird to me that, like, Art of the Swarm, I get, like, nothing.
Yeah, that's
people
really
are just
surprising
enjoying
because
it.
StarCraft is one of those games where people know how to play it, and when you know how to play it and watch people who don't, then it's, like, just the most obvious thing in the world.
Right, yeah,
It's doing
exactly.
so many things wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I don't know what there is to play of Company of Heroes. Or, I mean, I haven't really played Ruse as much as I wanted to. It seemed really cool. But I never really, like, I played a ton of Company of Heroes. But the single player was never that enthralling to me. It was just a straight up World War II story. It was like, okay, I guess. Like, I just way more preferred just playing the skirmish maps and stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, if there's a good RTS game that comes out, I wouldn't be opposed to it. That said, I think I'm the only one of the group that is really terribly inclined towards RTSs anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. Jesse Cox got a lot of hate on his StarCraft videos, I think. I didn't watch them because I'm not interested in StarCraft at all, but he was saying on Twitter that he got a lot of hate for it. So
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, Husky StarCraft did too. Like, that's why I was afraid, because, like, Husky StarCraft, he did a Wings of Liberty Let's Play and stuff, and people are like, God, your macro is so bad! And it's like, why are you people watching me? Like, but he's Diamond League. I'm, like, bronze at best.
Well, the thing is, like, people watch Husky StarCraft for professional StarCraft gameplay. People watch you, like, the people who watch your Let's Plays that aren't, like, Isaac or something are just people who are watching because you're making a video.
Right,
for the most part, I think. So
Fair
I
enough.
think you just lucked out. Not a lot of your viewer base really knows how to play StarCraft. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. But although that said, though, I mean, Jesse Cox is kind of in that boat too, isn't he? Like, he's
Yeah, but
kinda
he has
just a
so many
personality.
views.
Yeah, true.
Like,
true that.
like we've experienced this. When you have 100 people watching your Isaac videos, everybody's fine with everything. When you have 5,000, then every single mistake you make is like 50 people are going to tell you about it.
Yeah, true that.
yeah, I've kind of gotten used to that by this point. But
Yeah.
it's I think you put it best, Green. It's like being covered with bees. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Just covered in bees. Every time I read my comments, just like, the bees!
They're in my eyes! No, not my eyes!
Yep.
Yeah. It, Oh, apparently Cam is in the chat.
Yep. So is
Yeah,
Austin. Actually.
he's probably nervous about coming into the call, which is probably a good call. 'Cause
Yeah.
then I couldn't edit it. Cam, did you save your... Oh, he was
Yeah, he
able to
says he
recover a
recovered.
large portion of it.
Alright. Well,
I
that
don't-
sounds good at least.
Well, if he didn't get the whole thing, then I can't use it. Is the thing.
I think he probably means the whole thing besides
so.
when he was gone, because I don't think when it does the recovery, it doesn't like autosave or anything.
Yeah.
He could always
So-
start up Audacity and come back in.
Yeah, he could. And worst
So-
case, I could just use the Twitch thing.
That's true.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this though. I mean, Dokish is asking about why people are so nitpicky about Isaac. I really don't know. there's a comment also about how whenever Northern Lion forgets a spirit heart or something, he gets hated on so much.
Mm-hmm.
And my issue with that is not so much pointing out mistakes. You're pointing out mistakes that aren't helpful at all, because all of us know why that missing a spirit heart is bad. None of
Right.
So it doesn't do any good. You're telling us something you know for yourself. You already know. So what's the point? You're just doing it just to have the satisfaction of raging at someone on the internet.
Yeah, and if one person points it out, that's fine. But if the top comment is already "fuck you, you missed a spirit heart," then posting a new comment after that's also "you missed a spirit heart."
Right.
Yeah. So utterly pointless.
And I will also say, because I'm sure we're gonna get these comments on this since we're talking about this, is right. I had a couple of days very recently, like 2 weeks ago, where I got a bunch of hate. And I was actually even going to cancel a Let's Play. I still have the cancellation video. And then people convinced me otherwise, because the truth is that despite all of that, generally we get like 1,000 or more views, right? I mean, and we'll get like 100 comments usually, maybe beyond. The truth is, even then, that is a vocal minority, and it's hard.
Yes.
It looks like shit to us because that's the only feedback that we get.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, go on.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, then I talked about that, and someone was just like, "Well, you make a living off this, right? So this is just you complaining to your boss about your shitty."
That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
what a power trip! I'm watching your YouTube video, therefore I am your boss.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
And so, like, that's wrong on multiple levels, obviously. Like, firstly, none of us make enough money off of YouTube for this to be a viable, just main living option. For two, if you are getting shit on by your boss every day and you don't do anything about it, then that's you being a pussy. That's not, if you're mad that I am going to complain about that, then that's you being a pussy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. And the other thing too is that, like, people don't really understand that if that's the only feedback you get, especially considering that this is such a hobby, it wears on you.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't feel happy about making my videos, I'm gonna make shitty videos.
Right.
So exactly. I might as well just quit if I feel shitty every time I make a video. I'm not to that point, but there have been days where I'm like, I can't even record today. I'm just so fucking angry about how my last video went.
Now, I will say that in my last video, I rewrote Chocolate Milk and the Knife, and people were exploding in the channel. But I will say that also that a lot of people, in fact, I would say the majority, were very polite about that, and I took the time to thank them in the video after that, because I feel like this kind of polite, civilized behavior is rare on the internet. It should be acknowledged. It should be, I should make people feel good about that. So that's why I took the time to thank them. And as for the people who exploded, I just completely ignore them because they just want attention. It's difficult. Yep. It's really difficult. It hurts. I mean, it doesn't really hurt so much anymore. It just sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it hurt initially. It definitely hurt initially, and then now it's just like, all right, well, I guess
posted a video.
Not gonna read comments then.
Yeah, time to check my comments. Let me put on my bee mask.
Right.
Yeah.
And one last thing I need to say about this, because I'm generally a nice guy, right? I've said this before in a video. If you're the kind of person who's polite to people in real life, and you go on the internet and you're fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, you are a goddamn hypocrite and you are a goddamn coward. You don't have any principles, and you really should examine your life.
Yeah, and you should suck my cock. My filthy,
right, exactly. I mean,
I will. Cock. I've just rubbed it in glass and AIDS, and you should
an old
put it in
lady's
your
face.
mouth. Yeah.
Right. So the people who are polite or who have good humor about it, they're great. They are extremely, they're rare and they're great. The people who are not can go take their comments and go do whatever they want with them because I'm not listening.
Yeah, it's that dichotomy of, like, I'm on the internet, so therefore I'm not accountable for anything.
Right.
And it's like, you know, what you do when you're not accountable is kind of how you see what you're really like deep down. So when you're not accountable, you're just a dick about everything, then that's not good.
I think people don't realize how much that really does affect people who do what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
you know, I'm guilty of it. When I didn't shit on people, but I was always like, why do they care so much? They have like 10,000 people watching their video. That's so flattering. How could it bother you so much that people are being dickheads in the comments? But then after you have to read those comments directed at you, it's like, well, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It just makes you want to stop sometimes.
Yeah.
Although, you know, one good piece of advice that I have gotten and given is don't stop because of hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to necessarily follow that all the time. But it's I think absolutely true. By the way, Green, Skype chat. Look at it.
Oh.
I don't know if you were paying attention.
I'll wait for confirmation from him. Yeah. But yeah, if his Audacity's fucked, just come in.
Yeah, you should start an Audacity file and jump in, Cam.
Yeah, might as well start it, but I don't think I'm going to use it at this point.
Yeah, we've gone for about an hour and 40 minutes, so...
Yeah, just in time for the ending.
Yeah, just in time for the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somebody was laughing. I am Jordan was saying that even when I'm mad, I try to be polite, because I do, you know, I try... Generally, I don't say anything to people who are mad at me on the channel. But some things, even if I'm polite, are true, in that, again, if you are a hypocrite, if you behave well in real life and you don't behave well online. And no matter how polite I am, that's always going to be true.
Yeah. I'm not the same way. I do not have that kind of... I do not have that kind of... what is it called? That kind of restraint. If somebody's being a douchebag to me, I'm gonna defend myself.
Well, the thing is, I am a manager, right? You know, I've been in various managerial capacities in the past several years, and the people, I mean, that's not how you do business. This is not how real life works. And people sometimes say, it's the internet. You're a YouTuber. Get used to it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you hear that every once in a while,
right?
And I posed the question back to them. If I treated you like that in real life, you know, internet or not internet, and I tell you get used to it, you know, how would you feel?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't take that shit. I have soiled relationship with teachers and people over that, of someone treating me like shit and me not taking it. So, you know, if it soils internet love from the trolls, then I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like I don't want the trolls anyway.
Yeah.
So whatever.
At this point, I just don't respond usually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the hilarious thing about it is that sometimes the people, and I sometimes remember when people do this, because it doesn't make me feel good. I remember your names, all of you. But then they'll come back around and ask me for something, right? Like a challenge idea or something like that. No. And then that's when I would say, look, you know, you said this in the past, I'm not going to do your challenge, because you don't yell at people and then ask them to do something. You just don't do that.
Totally.
And generally speaking, they come back and apologize.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For me, I've been on both sides of it where, by the way, I'm back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
For me, I've been on both sides of it where there'll be a troll and I'll be like, I know that by getting angry he wins.
Yeah.
And yet,
I hate you, and I will find you and kill you. But then I've also been on the side where it's like, all right, well, by ignoring him, I win.
Yeah. See, I'm just gonna say, I'm not a very level-headed man. And the truth
Rob
is...
blames it on himself being Italian. I'm Italian. I can't take an insult. I have to fight for my rights.
It's not just that, but like I literally have scars on my face from being insulted and not taking it. So don't follow what I say, because I'm obviously wrong. The better idea is to ignore the troll.
Right.
Yeah.
because then you won't have scars on your face.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know.
Yeah. Really quick, the Lone Cthulhu said that he pointed out that I recently responded to somebody. They were telling me that I could have used the Cursed Skull to like get out of a mob trap room, blah blah blah. Isaac bullshit. But they weren't being rude. That's the difference. Like I don't care when people critique my gameplay. That's all right.
Right.
I don't like it when 50 people critique my gameplay in the same way. But I still don't consider that trolling. That's just, not really paying attention to the rest of the comments. What I hate is when people shit on me for doing something wrong.
And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
We have the right to actually to say something back. We do. And when people say, oh, well, it's the internet. You know what? If you're trying to abuse this, if you're trying to say, you say, I can shit on you because it's the internet, it's my right to do so, it is absolutely abusive. There's no real way to put around that because, as you said, it's a power dynamic. Right?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's actually what when I had that kind of thing happen, and I talked about it in my Isaac videos like 2 weeks ago. That's basically what I said. Was that, hey, look, you know what? You're right. You're upset that I bitch and whine over people being assholes to me. You know what I have is I have the tyranny of the microphone. I get to say whatever I want behind this microphone. And you have the power to not watch me. That's the situation.
Yep.
So, like, that's really what it is. So I can talk about whatever I want, and you have the power to not listen to what I want to say.
Right.
That said, though, like to that point of what you said, where like I don't mind if people critique my gameplay. Like recently, I fucked up in Don't Starve, where I accidentally turned off beefaloes, and the comments were hilarious. The comments were really funny. It was everybody talking about that, but it wasn't like I wasn't upset because nobody was just like, "Grr, you're such a fucking douchebag. Yeah, I hate you. I'm never watching you again. Oh, why do people watch you?" Because like the people who like troll and do that, they're always, they have this like white knight mentality, like, oh, I'm gonna tell the world about this guy and make sure everyone knows to not watch him. But like everyone on the Don't Starve thing was like, oh, Rob, you're so stupid.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious too. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's this like horribly passive way of dealing with it that I like to use. Like it's the same thing with the Westboro Baptist Church, where it's just like, it's so sad that you think that way, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And it feels shitty because it's like, I'm not doing anything to these people back to make them suffer for what they have done.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the best way to deal with it.
Oh, it totally
and
is.
It is.
It feels terrible.
Yeah, if you dismiss them, then that's going to make them feel the shittiest.
Right.
It's also going to make them try to troll harder.
Right, so that's exactly what I did in my last video. I didn't say, I said, I thanked the people who were nice and polite and very humorous about it. Just didn't say anything about the bad ones.
Yeah.
And Cam is absolutely right. Here's the thing, right? You guys know me by now. I could tear anyone apart. Like verbally.
Yeah, one time we had a challenge in one run where Zen had to like just shit on everybody, just make fun of people. He was absurdly good at it. Really
I cried myself to sleep.
I could destroy people on the spot. Seriously. I just choose not to because I don't think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Well,
So
tigers perhaps are not as lucky.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think we've been talking about shitty comments for long enough.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
But exactly. Sorry that's a shitty conversation, but as you can see, it obviously affects people.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
So anyway, should we answer some more questions or?
Yeah, if anybody has more questions.
Yeah.
The last question I see is Cam, right?
Not too many more though, because it's almost 2 hours though.
Yeah, we should probably call it quits pretty soon. How much longer for the stream? It's pretty late. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
So maybe
that's the end then. All right.
Well, fuck you guys.
Yep.
We're out.
Yep.
Bye.
So you guys plug your channels really quick.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I am youtube.com/alpaca patrol, twitter.com/alpaca patrol. Right now I'm doing a daily StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm single player gameplay let's play, and it's really cool. I will say, if you are a viewer who does not know me, this is going to be another one of those situations where I'm like, don't even necessarily watch me. You know what? I would even advise you watch someone who's good at StarCraft. Play it. but the story in StarCraft has always been awesome, and it's great. Or, conversely, pick it up and buy it, because it's awesome. But anyway, I'm doing a daily Let's Play of that. I'm also doing Link to the Past. I mean, not Link to the Past, I'm sorry. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
It's pretty different.
And, yeah, big difference. Someone actually asked me whether or not I was going to do more Zelda after it, and I was like, yeah, I might do Link to the Past. But anyway, so Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Let's Play, along with Portal 2 with Cam as Cam X Rob. Excuse me, Isaac every day. I'm drinking beer every day.
Let's do an immediate crowdsource here on the Dead Space thing.
Ah, that's not a bad idea.
Wait, what?
Rob and I recently finished recording the rest of Portal 2. Spoiler alert, I guess. and we, in the end of it, we kind of did a crowdsource thing, asking whether they wanted to see Dead Space 3 or not. But I feel like this is a good opportunity to ask the people.
Cam X Rob is a series that we did originally with Portal 2, and we're thinking of doing Cam X Rob Season 2 as Dead Space 3, because we both get it for free because we both bought SimCity.
Nice!
That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing we actually didn't talk in a news topic. Origin released a free game for people because they bought SimCity.
We talked about
free.
that last week.
Did we? All right.
For sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would watch it.
Yeah? All right.
I should catch up on Portal 2. I haven't been watching YouTube
I watched
at all.
the last episode. It was funny.
It was funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's
saw,
a fun time.
Yeah,
three,
there was the last 3 episodes, starting with the most recent one. I think it was 3 episodes. Starting with the most recent one, I was slowly getting more and more drunk, so the yelling just gets out of control.
Yeah.
By the 3rd episode, I'm just screaming because I'm dying so much. And then at one point, Rob's like, Cameron, stop yelling, stop.
Yeah, the last episode of Portal 2 is going to be pretty intense. Yeah, but the Portal 2 Let's Play, in case people want to know, plugging my channel. The middle episodes are just me and Cam basically breaking the game. We couldn't figure out puzzles, so we just kind of glitched our way speedrunning.
Good.
Wow.
It wasn't even speedrunning, it was just finding the most useless ways to actually
Jesus
cheat.
Christ.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
But it's so fun to watch. I actually watch those in my spare time.
Yeah,
because
me too.
I'm narcissistic and I love it.
Yeah, me too. So that, Zelda, Don't Starve, Isaac, FTL, sometimes I've kind of slowed on that series because of the aforementioned hate on a lot of videos.
Yeah, people don't like it when you're not good at FTL.
Yeah, they do not like it very much. So yeah. So that's me.
Okay.
Zen?
Okay, my channel is Zen and Cyrene, and the secret project which I alluded to last week is a reality. I just got it recorded over the weekend, and it will be released on Saturday. So look forward to that. It's actually, I'm not going to give up on the things that I'm doing, but this actually represents a pretty big shift in direction for the channel. So I'm really excited to finally review it on Saturday. And aside from that, Binding of Isaac, and I need to record something for tonight. So it's either going to be To the Moon or just find something really crazy and just do a one-off, humorous video.
Very nice.
That's pretty awesome. I'm actually excited to know what that is.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Actually, that's exciting. Zen
And
hasn't
I'm Cam,
even
just Cam.
shown us. Nope, Cam doesn't get to plug his channel.
I didn't even plug my channel.
Yeah.
I just said I'm just Cam.
No, that's why. Yeah, I was saying. Yeah. Cam.
Green, don't be so inconsiderate. I'm just Cam.
Okay. Cam's Cam. He has a Twitch channel that he uses sometimes. Twitch.tv/currently dancing.
Yeah, occasionally.
Cam? Is it currently
I
dancing
did
Cam?
Yeah, it's
swear
currently
off
Dancing
of.
Cam, yeah.
Yeah, it's currently Dancing Cam. I did swear off of streaming recently.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. After he rage quits the stream after he died in Dota while he was super hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't watch me on there.
Yeah, don't watch Cam.
Yeah.
Watch
Don't
him,
pay attention
watch
to
him by
anything.
Or
proxy
you
through the
can
rest of us.
try your best to convince him to make YouTube videos again, one of which being one that I recorded with him that he never released.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I recorded a video with him because people keep fucking commenting on my videos like, hey, do you know if Cam's gonna make any more videos? Answer, no! I don't think he is, because I recorded one with him and he was supposed to release it, he never did, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, my appearances will be strictly on Rob's channel.
Okay. You should come on my
maybe
channel,
someone
too.
else's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make guest appearances.
We should do a Green X cam.
I'm just
Cam X Green.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Cam X Green.
Yeah.
Cam X Green. Yeah.
Get onto that.
I don't know why I'm always first, because whenever I like say it in conversation, I always say the other person's name first.
Well, that's because you're Canadian.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just the alphabetical thing sounds better. Maybe my name's shorter, makes it sound better.
I think it is that actually.
I will say though, if I had to make a prediction, I think when Cam gets through to summer vacation, he probably will start making videos again.
Yeah, I might.
Oh, that would be awesome, yeah.
Or you might just do 24-hour streams every day.
Yeah. Well, because the truth is that, like, Cam, like, people don't know this, but Cam, when he made all of his videos in that 1 month, he was not in school at the time.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and then as soon as I got back to school, I was like, fuck this.
yeah, essentially. So, you know. So it's very highly likely that you may have to wait for that. For him to make
Yeah,
videos.
but the more likely case will be that I will stream until the world ends during summer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cam, if you ever do How to Fool Boyfriend, let me know. I will put aside work to watch you stream.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I definitely will let you know.
I'm Green. I'm playing Paranautical Activity recently. We just started a Let's Play on that. I'm doing FTL. People are mad at me about that, I think. Well, I think they largely like it, but a lot of people are also mad at me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I also do a lot of, like, review-type videos. Not reviews, but, like, first looks at video games that are coming out on Steam. I try to do as many as I can, but it's not a ton.
Yep.
what I
Actually,
do.
yeah, I'll say the same thing for me. I do that as well. Or try to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you're on my channel right now, so
Yep.
you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And also, we
You
stream
are.
a lot. Twitch.tv/Green9090, Twitch.tv/CurrentlyDancingCam, Twitch.tv/LastGrayWolf. Also, Last Gray Wolf is usually in the podcast. Had to have dinner with his grandparents this time. But you should check him out as well. He's been speedrunning Twilight Princess a lot.
Yep.
And is getting pretty goddamn good at it. And
Oh, yes.
He streams that every day at... what time is that?
8 or 9 EST.
Yeah, right around
I
there.
think. Yeah.
And he streams a lot, so you should check him out. Twitch.tv/LastGrayWolf. I think there's no underscores.
There are underscores.
There
yeah.
are
It's-
underscores.
It's last_gray_wolf, and it's gray with an E.
Yep, and Twitch.tv/Wife's Grandparents if you want to follow them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, also, like, we all have Twitch channels except for Zen, and I stream to a lesser degree, but if you follow all of us, then you will never be away from our streams, because we stream pretty much every night.
Yeah, pretty much every night somebody is doing something.
Yep.
Might just be Austin doing his Twilight Princess stuff. but
mostly
usually,
Austin doing that fucking...
Yeah.
Never mind.
But usually after that, there's also other people doing stuff as well. So check that out if you want to see more of us, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Adios, I love you all, hearts!